Hello everyone. So before we get into the news proper today, I need to issue a redaction. Last week, I praised Hasbro, didn't praise, but gave them what I thought was fair feedback, because we were all under the assumption that they had fixed the issue with the core Optimus robot of the HasLab Omega Prime. As it came out, no, Hasbro did not fix the issue. They didn't change any of the pieces, there was no new sculpting. All they did was take sandpaper to the offending piece and grind it down. This is something that you could do at home. Keep in mind, the HasLab was several $100s. It was an exclusive thing that you had to back. And they are using sandpaper to fix a faulty piece. So I'm publishing this redaction. I no longer am in support of Hasbro's effort because Hasbro didn't put in any effort. This is now somehow even more insulting. If you want to play devil's advocate, sure, I guess they did the sandpaper for you, but why not change the piece? Why not make sure that there's no chance that this could ever happen again? This might be a stopgap. We could have the problem come back still because the piece still doesn't fit in right. This might only solve the problem right now in the immediate setting, but we won't know for sure. So, that is my redaction, because I am the most trusted person in journalism, and I am giving you more accurate news than you can ever find on Fox or CNN or any of the others. I'm making this redaction to say I was wrong, and so is Hasbro. But now, let's get into the news proper. So, for sightings this week, we are starting to find the new Bumblebee converting RC car. It's a real simple thing, but I bet for little kids, this is going to be really cool. I know as a kid, I always wanted something like this. So, like, if little 4-year-old Ron Bondajon had gotten this Bumblebee that could stand up and transform back into a car, it would have blown my mind. And it's a decent-looking Bumblebee for what it is. It's a cheaper RC car in terms of price. In terms of the current gimmick lines, Cyberworld, we're starting to get the new Transport Megatron. Yeah, I know, he's a bit, let's say, bloated. But he's actually going to be big enough for the other Cyberworld figures to ride on, which is pretty cool to me. And we also got the newest wave of Swapticons. Real talk, I saw this at the store, and it wasn't this set, it was the other 5-pack that had Beast Wars Scorponok. I almost bought it. Because my Beast Wars Scorponok fandom is now that strong. The Swapticons are fine, but as soon as they do a character I really like, all of a sudden it's like, ooh, do I actually want to collect the Swapticons? But that's the new things there. We're starting to find the Retro Sea Spray. He is still really hard to come by, but at least people are finally being able to find him out there in the wild. And now we gotta talk about this. So, Armada Nemesis Prime is currently up for pre-order. You could have gotten him at New York Comic Con, and you could buy him right now on Hasbro Pulse if you are a premium member. In November, you'll be able to buy the remaining stock if you are not a premium member. I want you to take this with a grain of salt, because there's only a few of these guys out in the wild right now. Only a few people bought him from New York Comic Con and opened him out of the box. But apparently, there has been an issue with the mini-cons, specifically their hips. The plastic around the ball joint is so thin and brittle that a lot of the mini-cons are snapping straight out of the box. Some of them are breaking while inside the box. Take it with a grain of salt. I've only seen 2 reports of that so far. But we're going to keep an eye on it, because that might be a known issue, a common issue. And that really sucks, because this is an expensive toy, and a lot of people were excited to finally get a new version of the Star Saber. I don't know what is going on, but for whatever reason, nowadays, HasLabs and exclusives, we're just getting more and more and more of these quality control issues. So be aware, especially if you're going in for this Nemesis, there might be a problem with the legs, and we're going to take a very close eye to it as time goes on, and as more people get their hands on Nemesis. Let's move away from Hasbro and talk about some third-party reveals. So, we have seen the new King Toys Sludge. If I remember right, this is their Chug Scale Sludge. Still looks pretty cool. And also, Dr. Wu, who has long been doing Micromaster scale versions of characters, are now just doing Micromaster characters. So, we have Flak, and I don't remember who the plane's name is. Obviously, his name here is Airburst, but I know Flak. Flak is cool. And Flak is a character we did get in Siege, but you can see this Flak is going to have a little bit more articulation and potentially a little bit more paint. We'll have to wait till we see actual physical prototypes, but it's pretty cool that we're getting more Micromasters. And now, official reveals, because we had quite a few this week. So, the Moshi bots have a new wave coming out, and you can see it's a lot of evil copies, or at least niche repaints. So we got Nemesis Prime, Bug Bite, and then that's supposed to be G2 Megatron, but it's Hero Megatron, the purple one, as opposed to the green and purple camo one that a lot of people think of with G2 Megs. And finally, of course, Shatterglass Shockwave. Shatterglass Shockwave looks adorable. I really dig this. So we're going to get a new Timelines 2-pack. Kind of like we got the Hearts of Steel, Optimus and Starscream, and the Hearts of Steel, Bumblebee and Megatron. We're going to get a new one that's going to be more kind of feudal Japan inspired. So Optimus here, of course, is based visually on Samurai, and he is going to transform into a ox bringing along a cart. I've been playing a lot of Gosei Yotai lately, so for some reason this is hitting a lot of the notes that I'm really interested in right now aesthetically. I like this Optimus. He looks pretty cool. I like how his torso really brings to mind like Power Master Prime. That's what I see when I look there. And then Starscream. When we first saw the renders, I did not like this Starscream. I thought he looked just like a kind of iffy remold of Airraiser. But now that we've actually seen the physical prototype, I like him a lot more. I like his Vulture mode. Vulture is a great mode for Starscream. You know, it's funny, I always would have thought of like a hawk or an eagle, but a vulture works so much better for his personality. And then in robot mode, he's just great. And I love that he has like the little fan. I could just see him like fanning himself while going, oh, like a proper aristocrat. I love it. I don't love this though. So, we're getting the Skybound Optimus, which is good. I want the Skybound Optimus. And he's going to be based on the SS-86 Optimus mold. That's great. Good mold. So I need you to stick with me. You do not get a trailer with this Optimus. You don't get any blast effects. You're going to get the Matrix of Leadership. You're going to get the Ion Cannon. And you're going to get the Megatron arm. You're not going to get a normal Optimus arm. This is only going to be the Megatron arm with the Fusion Cannon. The reason why I think I should bring all that up, this is half of a Commander class, basically. Because the Commander class SS-86 Optimus, it was him plus his trailer. And that was going, let's say, for $100. I was seeing it go for 90, but let's just say 100 and be real nice, okay? So, in theory, this Optimus should be 50. That's what I think. It's half of the Commander class package. Maybe you could push it and say this Optimus should be 60, so leader class money. This is going to be an $80 toy. It's an $80 toy, and you don't even get all of the pieces that the other, like, SS-86 Optimus got. You don't get all the blast effects. The sculpting is all more or less the same. And I think that is highway robbery. I don't think there's any world where this is an $80 figure. But I don't know. I saw that Hasbro had posted a thing, and it was their thing was basically, a great leader doesn't just give commands, they're willing to give their all. And I almost commented, a great leader doesn't just give commands, they give $80 for a glorified Voyager. And I didn't, because a lot of people were excited for this gun. I don't want to take the wind out from anyone's sails, but this should have been a slam dunk, but leave it to Hasbro to kind of ruin it and make the taste all the sour. And I'm sure there's going to be some bootlicker who's going to say, well, you know, when you really look at it, the new sculpting my ass. $80 for a glorified Voyager, that's what this is. But hey, at least Blokees is always going to be good bang for your buck. We got a new wave of the Defender version. These are the chibi versions, and I like a lot of the characters that we see in this wave. So we're getting Sideswipe and Sunstreaker. They look really cute together. We're also going to get, like, cartoon Skyfire and toy Jetfire. Those are both really nice looking. We're going to get two versions of Galvatron. We're going to get a kind of more rich indigo purple Galvatron. That's going to be the animation accurate special armor Galvatron. But there's also going to be more of a lilac Galvatron, a little bit more of a toy accurate Galvatron. And then we're going to get Shatterglass Jetfire. He's going to be another chase figure. Reflector, which is going to be our first Blokees Reflector. We're going to get Cyclonus and Shatterglass Soundwave. Hell yeah, there's going to be a lot to be... There's a lot of Shatterglass love in Blokees all of a sudden. I'm all for it. Vehicle Mode Jetfire, as well as a all-translucent Optimus. And then we're also going to get Onslaught and Swindle. We got Brawl last wave. So now all we need is Blast Off and Vortex, and they're probably going to do a Bruticus set. Also, look at Swindle. His head likes to look like eyes. He looks like he has, like, big bloodshot eyes, like he's really scared of something he's approaching. That's funny to me. And that's it. So, we gotta talk about some real news. This is where we kind of have to stop having as much fun as we've been having. So if you don't want to hear real news, that's fine. Just click off right now. I don't blame you. But if you stick around, just know I gave you the warning, okay? I'm going to count down, and after I count down, we're going to go and talk about what the real news for the week is. So, 3, 2, 1. There's a broader thing I'm going to get into, but let's start with something pretty niche real quick, okay? Last week was Amazon Prime Day sales. And usually during Prime Day sales, there's big discounts for everything, right? And you're looking at some of the toys that went on to sell. You know, you got a lot of the Ruination collection, you got the Naruto collaborative figure. The thing is, all the discounts for these figures, the discounts just took them to what the prices were pre-tariffs. So it just made these box sets the prices the box sets were from last year and the year before. And it's a thing a lot of people are starting to notice. Amazon, Walmart, Target. When you see these sales go on, the toys on sale are just becoming the price they were in a pre-tariff landscape. And the tariffs are still very much a thing. This past Friday, the administration announced an extra 100% to tariffs against China. And the stock market, despite being very late on a Friday, usually you make those announcements late on a Friday so the stock market can't react, there was a massive dip. Now, I'm recording this on Sunday, so by the time you're watching this tomorrow, we'll see what the markets are doing. But this is not the first time this has happened. It's the first time in a few weeks that's happened like this, because around June was the last time the administration was doing stuff like this. And it's already having a great effect on collecting. I want you to think about this. Is it easier, harder, or about the same to find toys in your area now as it would have been this same time last year? Because for me, it is much harder. I live in Savannah. Savannah, Georgia is a massive shipping hub. Typically, things get to Savannah very early, sometimes before the rest of the country even. And yet, a lot of new stuff isn't showing up out here. And if it's not showing up in a place that is known for its shipping, like literally the thing is to get off the boat here, how are they showing up in the Midwest? How well are they showing up in other places in the South? How well are they showing up in places that don't have ports or direct places of entry? Even if you want to stick your fingers in your ears and go la 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 every time there's even a slight criticism of this current administration, you have to acknowledge that supply and demand have been negatively affected, that trade has been negatively affected, that availability of product has been negatively affected, that business has been negatively affected. You have to acknowledge that because that's sheer objective reality. It's harder to find these toys. And when you find them, there's less of them. And when there's less of them, the prices have gone up. Deluxes are $29 at Walmart now. That's $30 for a deluxe. This time last year, they were $22. They've gone up nearly $8 in 1 year. and that's because of Hasbro. Corporate greed, always going to be a big part of it. And of course, let's not forget, this administration loves corporate greed and will do anything they can to support CEOs, giving themselves major bonuses at the cost of workers. But alongside that, the stores are raising prices because shippings and tariffs, and you pay these tariffs. Regardless of whatever the administration wants to say, you pay the tariffs. The American consumer pays the tariff. And that's not my opinion. That is how that works. I'm real sorry that we live in a world where people think that if they just repeat the same lie enough, that it's the truth. And I'm even more sorry that there's people who fall for it. I'm very sorry that there's people who, when I say all this right now, they're going to try to dox me, they're going to give me death threats, they're going to say that I am some radical that's trying to indoctrinate people into my way of thinking, when I am just telling you how this is affecting the free market, how this is affecting the toy industry, how this is affecting your collecting. And it is affecting your collecting. It is affecting your collection. It is affecting your money. It is affecting your well-being. The administration has its hands on your wallet. It's not as simple as Walmart decided to squeeze you for a few more bucks. Because, don't get me wrong, Walmart would love to squeeze you for a few more bucks. But they don't want to squeeze you for this much more this soon because it drives down their profits. Every major store, there is less foot traffic, there is less money going into it, stocks are down, general income is down. And of course, here's what's going to happen. After Christmas, there's going to be a shit ton of layoffs at all these companies. A lot of people are going to be out of the job, and the CEOs will still give themselves massive bonuses, but there's going to be less Transformers for you. There's going to be less money in the economy. There's going to be less jobs for you. I know that this is a toy news episode, and I'm focusing in on how this is going to affect the toys. But if you can't afford to buy the toys, that's also affecting the toys, now isn't it? I know this is real heavy, this is real negative. I don't like talking about these things. I had to talk about it this week because, well, it's quite literally in the news. Even TFW is having to talk about it now. But we are past it. We're going to move swiftly from this heavy topic and try to talk about some stuff that's what's coming up, what's coming out, try to have some fun. So, on Wednesday, I am ranking every single Transformers show. I've never done a tier list video before, so this was kind of fun. Give it a check out. If you like it, I might do more tier lists, but I just ranked all the shows. It was fun to do. The Many Toys of Motormaster will come out on Friday. He has been a very popular request. I love Motormaster. I have a big soft spot for him, so it was fun to be able to do this video. And it was also fun to make G1 Motormaster and animated The Motormaster into the Tag Team Champions of Cybertron. And then finally, on Sunday, we're doing another character essay video called Till All Are One, talking about how Beast Machine's Megatron bastardized the phrase and tried to make all one within himself. So, big week for the channel. I'm really excited for all these videos. I'm not going into the producers this week, just because we had to cover some pretty heavy topics. But I want to thank all of you so much for watching, and I want you to remember, regardless of how difficult it might become to collect, you're always going to have a spot on this channel. We're always going to be trying to have fun and enjoy Transformers together. Even if we're all buying less toys, that's okay, because we got a lot of toys to appreciate, a lot of toys to have fun with, and always a new video to try to get done. I want to thank you all so much for watching. I want to thank you all so much for being here with me. I want to thank you so much for putting up with me. Hopefully we're going to get to a point where I don't ever have to talk about real world news in these toy news videos ever again. That's what I would like. But until that happens, I'm going to keep you informed, and we're going to all hang in here together. Thank you for watching, and we'll see what we get up to next time.